In one city, 93% of women feel safe walking alone at midnight. From a Scandinavian capital where women walk home alone at 2 a.m. without a second thought, to an Asian megacity of 14 million people where women have their own train cars and the assault rate is nearly zero. These are the 10 safest cities on Earth for solo female travelers. Ranked by data, not opinion. Because where you feel safe and where you actually are safe are often very different places. Number 10. Vienna, Austria. 89% of women in Vienna report feeling safe walking alone at night. The city runs a free women's safety app that connects directly to emergency services with one tap. Vienna's public transport system is consistently rated the safest in Europe, with camera coverage on every train, tram, and bus. The city was designed with women's safety in mind. Urban planning decisions, like wide sidewalks, well-lit underpasses, and transparent elevator shafts in subway stations, were made specifically based on women's safety audits. Vienna has had a dedicated women's office since 1992 that reviews all city planning through a gender lens. Accommodation is affordable by European standards. A centrally located hostel costs $25 to $40 per night. Solo female travelers consistently rank Vienna's museums, coffee houses, and classical music scene as comfortable to experience alone. Number 9. Zurich, Switzerland. Zurich has the lowest violent crime rate of any major European city. The assault rate is 0.5 per 100,000 people. To put that in perspective, London's rate is 30 times higher. The Langstrasse district, once Zurich's red light area, has been transformed into one of Europe's safest nightlife zones. Well-lit streets, police presence, and a culture where bystander intervention is normalized. The median salary in Zurich is $85,000, which means poverty-driven crime is virtually non-existent. Switzerland's universal conscription creates a culture of civic responsibility, and the train system, connecting every corner of the country, runs like clockwork until midnight and beyond. The downside: Zurich is expensive. A night out can cost $100. But for solo female travelers who prioritize safety above all else, that cost buys peace of mind that's hard to find anywhere else on Earth. Number 8. Melbourne, Australia. Melbourne conducts regular women's safety audits of its public spaces, something most cities don't do. 87% of women feel safe at night. The city has designated 24/7 safe zones in the CBD with direct police links. Train stations have emergency help points every 50 meters on platforms. Melbourne's laneway culture, while charming, was redesigned in the 2010s specifically with women's safety in mind. Wider entrances, better lighting, security cameras. The laneways went from sketchy to Instagram-worthy, and women's safety complaints dropped 40%. The city also runs a free late-night rideshare service for women leaving entertainment districts after midnight. And unlike many cities where women are told to avoid certain areas, Melbourne's approach is to make all areas safe rather than restrict women's movement. The cultural attitude matters as much as the infrastructure. Number 7. Amsterdam, Netherlands. Amsterdam's cycling culture is actually a safety feature. When most of the city moves by bike, streets stay populated at all hours. There's always someone around. 85% of women feel safe walking alone at night. The Dutch approach to sex work, legalizing and regulating it since 2000, paradoxically reduced street harassment. By moving the industry indoors and under regulation, Amsterdam's streets became safer for all women. The canal ring stays busy until late with restaurants and cafes. Well-lit cycling paths connect every neighborhood, and the police are trained in de-escalation rather than force. Amsterdam also has one of the highest rates of female participation in public life. Women hold 40% of parliament seats and run many of the city's major institutions. When women design cities, cities become safer for women. Number 6. Singapore. Singapore's assault rate against women is nearly zero. The city-state has some of the harshest penalties for sexual offenses in the world. Caning for sexual assault. Long prison terms for harassment. The deterrence works. Public transport safety is the best in Asia. Every MRT station has cameras, emergency buttons, and security patrols. Women report feeling as safe on the last train at 11:30 p.m. as the first at 5:30 a.m. The streets are immaculate, well-lit, and monitored. Singapore's famous ban on chewing gum is part of a broader culture of order and consequences. Petty crime is so rare that locals leave laptops on cafe tables while they order. The downside for travelers? Singapore is strict. Drug possession carries the death penalty. Laws against public intoxication are enforced. It's a safe city because the rules are rigid. But for solo female travelers, that rigidity is the point. Number 5. Helsinki, Finland. Finland ranks second globally on the World Economic Forum's Gender Gap Index, and that equality translates directly to safety. 91% of women in Helsinki feel safe walking alone at night. Finland's social safety net, including free education, subsidized childcare, and universal healthcare, eliminates many of the socioeconomic drivers of crime. The homelessness rate is near zero, thanks to Finland's housing-first policy. Helsinki's design is deliberate. Public spaces are wide, well-lit, and overlooked by residential windows. The concept of eyes on the street, where the architecture itself creates natural surveillance, is baked into Finnish urban planning. The midnight sun in summer means it never gets dark from May to July. And even in winter's long darkness, Helsinki's lighting infrastructure ensures no street goes dark. Finnish culture also plays a role. The concept of sisu, a stoic resilience and respect for personal space, means solo travelers are left alone in the best possible sense. Nobody bothers you. Nobody stares. Nobody follows. Number 4. Reykjavik, Iceland. Iceland has been ranked the most gender-equal country on Earth by the World Economic Forum for 14 consecutive years. And Reykjavik is the safest capital city for women, period. 94% of women feel safe walking alone at any hour. The city's population is only 140,000, which creates a community where anonymity is impossible. Everyone knows everyone. Street harassment is culturally taboo to a degree that's almost hard to believe. The origin story matters. In 1975, 90% of Icelandic women went on strike for a single day, refusing to work, cook, or care for children. The country ground to a halt. The event, called the Women's Day Off, catalyzed Iceland's feminist movement and led to the world's first democratically elected female president in 1980. That cultural DNA still defines Reykjavik. Solo female travelers describe walking home at 3 a.m. from Reykjavik's famous bar scene without a single uncomfortable moment. The city doesn't just tolerate women's independence. It was built on it. Number 3. Seoul, South Korea. Seoul has women-only parking spaces, painted in pink, located closer to exits and security cameras. Women-only subway cars during rush hours. And a national safety app called Smart Safe Return that tracks your walk home and alerts authorities if you stop moving. 90% of women feel safe at night in Seoul's major districts. The CCTV network covers virtually every public space. Police response time averages under 5 minutes. And the booming K-culture scene has drawn millions of solo female travelers who find Seoul uniquely welcoming to women exploring alone. Gangnam, Hongdae, and Itaewon districts stay lively until dawn. Street food markets operate past midnight, and the subway runs until midnight with night buses covering every route after. What makes Seoul remarkable is the speed of change. Following high-profile cases in the 2010s, South Korea overhauled its sexual assault laws, increased penalties, and invested billions in women's safety infrastructure. The change wasn't gradual. It was a national priority. Number 2. Copenhagen, Denmark. 92% of women feel safe walking alone at night. Copenhagen's bicycle culture keeps streets populated 24 hours. The city has no dark, empty neighborhoods. No areas where women are told to avoid. Denmark's gender equality ranking of 3rd globally means the cultural baseline is respect for women's autonomy. Parental leave is split equally. Women hold 44% of parliament seats. The social contract extends to public behavior. Copenhagen's Nørrebro and Vesterbro districts, once rough, were transformed through mixed-use development that put residential windows overlooking every street corner. The result? Natural surveillance without cameras. Community without control. The city also runs free self-defense classes for women, funded by the municipality. And night buses run every 20 minutes on all major routes. Copenhagen's philosophy is simple. Don't tell women where they can't go. Make everywhere safe enough that the question never arises. Number 1. Tokyo, Japan. 93% of women feel safe walking alone at night in Tokyo. In a city of 14 million people, that statistic is almost impossible. But it's real. Tokyo's assault rate against women is 0.7 per 100,000 people. New York's is 27 per 100,000. London's is 33. Tokyo is roughly 40 times safer than comparable Western cities by this measure. Women-only train cars, introduced in 2000, run during rush hours on every major line. They're not optional courtesy cars. They're a systematic response to overcrowding on a network that carries 8 million people daily. Koban police boxes are stationed every 300 to 500 meters throughout the city. Uniformed officers are always visible, always approachable. The cultural factor is enormous. Japan's concept of maiwaku, the fear of causing trouble to others, creates a social environment where harassment is not just illegal but deeply shameful. Convenience stores are open 24/7 on virtually every block, providing well-lit safe havens at any hour. And Tokyo's street lighting is the most comprehensive of any major city in the world. Solo female travelers in Tokyo describe an experience unlike any other. Walking through Shinjuku at 2 a.m. feeling not just safe, but completely relaxed. Taking the last train alone without checking over your shoulder. Eating alone in a restaurant and being treated as a valued customer, not an anomaly. 14 million people. 0.7 assaults per 100,000. Women-only train cars. A police box every 500 meters. 93% night safety. Tokyo doesn't just make the list. It defines what a safe city for women can be. For patterns define the safest cities for women. First, gender equality predicts safety. The top 4 cities on this list are in the top 4 countries for gender equality. When women hold power in government and business, cities get designed differently. Second, public transport is the multiplier. Tokyo's women-only cars. Seoul's safety apps. Vienna's camera coverage. Safe transit means safe cities because women can move freely without depending on rides from strangers. Third, lighting and visibility matter more than cameras. Helsinki's eyes on the street. Copenhagen's mixed-use development. Melbourne's laneway redesign. The cities that made everywhere visible outperform the cities that just added surveillance. Fourth, culture is the foundation. Iceland's 1975 women's strike. Japan's concept of maiwaku. Finland's sisu. Infrastructure alone doesn't create safety. The belief that women deserve to move freely is what builds cities worth living in. If this changed how you think about travel safety, subscribe and hit the notification bell. Like this video if you believe every city should be safe for women. And tell us, which city on this list surprised you the most?